Good morning, friends. Host Eric here. I was talking with friends people. Just woke up, made coffee, pooed, had a cigarette. That's all I've done so far. The fourth thing I'm doing today is I'm talking with you about only the most important topics, the very most important ones. I'm going to start out with a particularly awful human being whose name rhymes with Scory, who actually had the balls to try to communicate with me yesterday during a live stream about someone's headphones. It's like that scoundrel, that lying scoundrel needs to own up to her lies and scoundrelness before she can ever even dream about getting anything from me. She needs a full and thorough public shaming. And, she needs to make a video saying, I am an awful scoundrel, like Eric says. Publish it, give it to me to publish. Acknowledge all of her lies. Then maybe we can make some progress. It's like the gall, the balls, And talk about a lack of self-awareness. Just a complete refusal to acknowledge the truth about anything. That kind of scoundreliness doesn't get away. I don't let people get away with that kind of scoundreliness. And I'm not going to let her get away with it for sure. She's an awful human being. Literally one of the worst human beings I've ever encountered. I think that's fair. I think that's totally fair. And then it is. It's totally fair. I'm not actually being hyperbolic at all. Just manipulative, lying, just lies, constant lies. I can't stand liars. I just can't stand them. And she's such a liar. Anyway. I woke up a little mad at her this morning. Hi, Ken, Chris, and Sarah Pagoo. Understandably. I mean, when somebody tells all these kind of awful lies about you, you're going to get a little annoyed by that. It's perfectly reasonable. So anyway, my basic opening message here is, fuck that bitch, basically. And my other message is, of course, reality matters. Reality matters. Oh, it doesn't even matter. Some horrible scoundrel whose name rhymes with Scory. Mostly I feel bad for Spacey. He's a good guy. He deserves a good woman. Instead, he's got one of the worst scoundrels in history. But fortunately, I'm here to publicly call her out for being such a shame monkey and a spite monkey. That's the good I can do in the universe today, is to make it clear that she will never fool me with her manipulation and lies. I will always call them out. So, sorry, scumbag. No. You're still being held to account, as I've always held you to account. You've hated it from day one. You hate it still. Too effing bad. I don't let scumbag scoundrels like you get away with shit. It's my job in the world to call people like you on your bullshit. Boy, people use the narcissist word way too freely, but almost certainly appropriate in this circumstance. Yeah. Okay, Cloud. You go ahead and hate me. You hate me all you wish, and I will, if you have any legitimate reasons to hate me, I will hear them, respond accordingly. That's what makes me not a scumbag scoundrel. That's what's known in critical thinking circles, Cloud, as a false dilemma. I neither love nor hate you. I will say this. You aren't a spite monkey. You aren't a scumbag. You aren't a liar. You aren't a scoundrel. You aren't any of those things. Well, okay, Cloud, I love you. Kind of a mild form of love, but sure. Fine enough. Fair enough. Of course, King Krishna Sarmapagu and Cloud. I love both of you very much with my heart. I mean, neither of you is Rachel Lapalosa, but I still love you. What I don't love, in fact, I actually hate, is when scoundrels think they're getting away with their shit. No, scoundrels, no. You're not getting away with anything. No scoundrels are allowed to get away with anything while I'm on duty. I'm imperfect, you know. People levy various complaints and criticisms of me, and I hear them all. And when they are correct, I acknowledge it. That's what makes me a legitimate human being. People who can't do that are not legitimate human beings. They're just scoundrels and scumbags. It's as simple as that. If you can't admit when you're wrong and take accountability for your own behavior, then you're a scoundrel and a scumbag. Well, good for you, Cloud. I did you better than that. I solved an INFJ. Okay? I understand an INFJ. That's more impressive than you understanding an INFP. Although I admit understanding an INFP is pretty impressive. Pretty impressive. That's something I could ever do, Cloud, but then that's because I'm an ENTP and I don't have any understanding FI, so they're my supervisor type. Constantly supervising me. They supervise me until I play in the Super Bowl. Well, basically, it's you just gotta love and more or less worship the INFJ and unconditionally, and then they love you back. That's the solution. You know, I almost never have any word of even the slightest critique to offer to Rachel. That's the solution. INFJ spend all their time being all perfect, right? I appreciate that. It's like none of the other types are that perfect. You know, they just don't make very many mistakes. So, yeah, I absolutely love Rachel unconditionally for exactly who she is, without trying to change her at all. And the thing is, as an INFJ, she makes almost no mistakes. Like she's very cautious. She's made a couple of mistakes, but in those instances, she usually like misheard me or responded before she actually listened to me and responded to something I didn't say. Uh, but nowadays she doesn't make any mistakes. It's like she's being healed by my unconditional love, by the tsunami of my unconditional love. Because the thing is, oh, it's difficult being INFJ. It is difficult because well, it's one conditional love. As I say, she has to be faithful to me, obviously, but that's the one condition. What I mean by unconditional love is she knows that I love and value her most when she's most naturally herself. That I don't require her to change at all to be loved by me. And there definitely is such a thing as unconditional love. In fact, the whole concept of it is a prerequisite to any real kind of love. Now, unconditional love doesn't mean literally unconditional, like the person could do absolutely anything and you still stick with them. It's not the case. But it means basically you don't need to change at all for me to love you. You don't need to be different. Well, I'll tell you something, King Krishna Sarma Pagu. She and I are both benefiting tremendously from this relationship. I become more NI and she becomes more NE. She is relieved from the prison of her introverted intuition, and I from the prison of my extroverted intuition. It really has a strangely true duality effect. It's like, I agree with you that that pattern should be reversed. Joel Nathan Henry. NTPs are better suited for math and NTJs for physics. Yeah, it's weird. It's like I feel increasingly like I'm floating on a cloud of magic, which I call NI basically. And she no longer feels trapped by knowledge. That it's like the INFJ's big conundrum is regarding social stuff. They have a more nuanced and more deft understanding than anybody they encounter. And so most of the time they're having to be more coarse than they naturally are in order to be communicatively successful with people who don't pick up on subtle cues. This is a ongoing battle for INFJs in life. I am like a fresh drink, cool drink of water for an INFJ in a relationship with me as Rachel is because I am constantly not wanting to be out nuanced. In other words, I'm impressed with the INFJ skill sets in their area. And I try to emulate it or try to live up to it a little bit, you know? Concurrently, the same thing with the INFJ. Makes both partners better. It just does. I don't know if every ENTP INFJ relationship is like this, but Rachel's and mine certainly is. And it couldn't be any better. It's insanely remarkable how good it is. It's the sort of thing I want for Spacey. Spacey deserves a healthy ESFJ whom he can genuinely be in love with and not have to carry this constant burden. Yeah, makes me sad for him. It's like, what do you do if your significant other is a liar? I had that problem with Kimberly. She wouldn't deal with me by dealing with the truth, and it became impossible. It became impossible to stay with her because if I can't do work with the truth, then I can't do work at all. I can't do work at all. I can't make things better. I can't make things good. I can't make any impact on anything. And it's like everybody deserves to have the truth work for them when it does, you know? If you can't, if you're in a relationship where the truth doesn't work for you, you need out immediately. That's it. And there are people in the world who genuinely seem to oppose the truth. It's probably not their fault exactly. Like, I know it wasn't Kimberly's fault. She had a rough childhood and never really learned to value the truth. It's because she's an SI dom, she became obsessed with her own understanding of things, her own knowledge, right? Her own experiential knowledge. Why are NI-DOMs supposed to be rare, and why only few come out of the NI-DOM? I mean, I think INFJs and ENTPs are the two rarest types. I think INFJs are rarer than INTJs, and I think ENFPs are rarer than ENFPs. And the reason is because, I mean, I don't know if this is a good reason for it, but it's a reason. We need so very few of us. It's like NI-DOMs, an INFJ is meant to be a hidden leader. Like the advisor who's really running the state behind the president or something. You're not being boring. ENTPs, there just aren't very many real ENTPs out there. Very, very few. I don't know why. I guess we're useless. You know? I mean, that's not my experience. My experience is that being together brings the INFJ out of their NI and brings the ENTP out of their NE a bit. It doesn't work that direction, really. So an INFJ in a proper relationship with an ENTP doesn't need to withdraw in that fashion. It's sort of mutually understood as the natural process of things. Well, he's making right there an observation about a descriptive observation. It doesn't require any why. He's saying, I've observed that this is the case. He's not saying, oh, better suited. Okay. Well, that's fine. I mean, the thing to remember is ENTPs they have this reputation or sometimes called the most introverted extrovert. It's not, I don't know if it's true or not, but it is true that there are long stretches of time where I get lost in my head as well. And one of the things that happened with me and Rachel is we have like sort of alternating time periods of NINE, which is we'll be driving for a stretch and be silent for a long time. And then we'll be chatting vigorously for a while. And we can do both. And the cool thing about INFJs is it's hard to impress them with anything new. They're hard, they have a high standard for their extroverted intuition. It's hard for people other than me to impress INFJs. I'm remarkably clever. You know, I mean, I don't mean to toot my own horn, but if an INFJ is gonna be impressed by something new, or at least interested in it, there's a decent chance I can get there. I need a tough audience that I can also trust, and it's also kind and gentle with me in a way, you know? I need an audience that will convey to me when something's not really working by asking a seemingly unrelated question or something, you know? Subtle shit. I work well with subtle shit and subtext. I don't need to be hit over the head. So INFJ with me, they're not that bored. I'm pretty interesting. And I'm not that scattered because now I have an audience who can appreciate me, so to speak. What the INFJ mostly needs to do is basically be worshipped for their INFJ hood. Then they can love you full blast. If INFJ, because INFJs are not used to being fully appreciated for their slick INFJ hood. I fully appreciate it. Okay, so it's like basically I have such an NI fetish that I can't do anything but sort of worship Rachel. It's like, oh my God, I love you so much. And when you can do that honestly with the other person and she's not damaged, as Rachel's not damaged, then you get full love back. And I get Rachel's full love back. She's just as gaff about me as I am about her. And we are a hardcore gaff, let me tell you. I would if I weren't part of this couple with Rachel, I would be absolutely sick and disgusted by it. The way we talk to each other couldn't be any gaffer. So anyway, I really love Rachel to the end of the universe and back, you know, and that's what it takes to liberate the INFJ. Have somebody who's 100% on their side, understands how valuable and incredible they are, and never feels to the contrary, really, you know. Are INTJs really thinkers and are INFJs really feelers? Yes. They're just extroverted thinkers and introverted thinkers. So it's like being an extroverted feeler means you're also an introverted thinker. INFJs have a strong value of fairness and things making sense. They like it when shit's reducible and makes good sense because most of their truths, a lot of their NI truths, are irreducible. They know it, but they can't argue it. It's this constant frustration in their life. I know this thing, I see it, but I know if I say meow to these people, then they're going to ask me questions like meow, meow, meow. I'm not going to really have answers to those. And so I just have this constant frustration of knowing better and knowing that they're unable to argumentationally defend what they know. ENTP provides argumentational defense. So anytime Rachel knows something, I might see that it's irreducible, but I can also see here's the angle you argue it. And don't worry, you just say your truth, and I'll be right there, and I'll beat up anybody who thinks they're going to try to bring some bullshit, you know, like rhetorically, of course. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I appreciate being useful to her like that. She values my willingness to go to battle for her and be her champion. INFJs don't really want to be their own champions. I'm happy to be her champion. She's happy to have me as her champion. And it's like, that's what I want. You know, I don't want somebody who's like, don't talk for me about this thing, Eric. Don't. I can do it myself. I can argue with these people myself. Well, you might be able to argue with those people yourself, but you sure as fuck can't do it as well as I can. You know, it's like give me a little bit of credit in my area of success, right? I want a partner who values what I have to offer. One of the things I have to offer is if you're right, but people are giving you grief about it, I'm here with 2 feet that go into their butts. See, NI is seeing what is. NE is seeing what isn't. If you combine the two, you get the whole picture.
So, Can Krishna Sarmapagu, did you have any mantra-related accidents yesterday with your priest? I was worried. You know, one wrong mantra can really cause a lot of problems. I hope you got them all correct. Did it go from Om to Ah or Om to Eh? It's important because if you go from Om to Ah, you're in trouble, but Om to Eh is fine. I could barely sleep last night. I was so worried about your mantra risks. It's like, boy, that woman is playing with fire over there in India with these mantras going wild left and right. I'm not there to check to make sure it's being done properly. I did transubstantiate your priest at least one bong rip, didn't I? I hope so. Otherwise, you're in trouble. You know, when Rachel and I used to have a little bit of pushback towards each other occasionally, it was generally on simply this, like, okay, that is potentially universally a problem, but remember, we aren't universal averages, okay? We are actual distinct people, and that's not a problem for us. This is something INFJs can do. They can be like, yeah, but I'm worried about this quality of the Mirage relationship, and that might be a problem between us. Okay, but you know, that's like based on what you know about cognitive function stacks or something, and completely unrelated to particular data which we have available. You know, we could look at the data we have, Rachel. We don't seem to have these problems that they say potentially would arise in a Mirage relationship, or at least they're not necessarily problems for us. Do we make each other a little bit lazy? Yeah, a little bit. We make each other a little bit lazy. Is that something that socionics says is going to happen with Mirage relationships? Yeah. But is it a problem? No, it's not a problem. Because it only makes me a little bit lazy. I have to be reminded existential crises. What? Hi, precious angel. My precious angel is here. I'm talking with Ken Krishna Sarmapagu and a couple other people about how to love an INFJ and how to get the best out of them. Like, basically, it's just wallop them with this tsunami of genuine, unconditional love, and everything will be fine. What problem should be happening? Winston Mom wants to be in trouble. Well, Winston's mom, you could commit wire fraud. My shadow is not an INTJ. My shadow is also an ENTP. Okay, both me and my shadow are NTPs. That's true, Joel Nathan Henry. I'm terrible at chess compared to people who are good at chess anyway. But when it comes to loving Rachel LaPalosa, I always get checkmate in just one move. Okay, Benny Hinn, those kind of distinctions are silly. I am not an unconscious INTJ. I am aware. Look, and this is why. I do feel feelings, FI. I do demonstrate TE. So, for example, when the world demands TE of me, I will provide how-tos and explanations, as I'm doing right now, frankly.
Yes, Rachel has to go potty time, Benny Hen. Shh. Don't bother her when she's pottying, or she won't be able to pee. She gets a little pee shy. I'm sorry I revealed that truth about you, Rachel. I know you swore me to secrecy forever about that, but I couldn't. I just slipped out. It's true, everybody. I'm sharing one of Rachel's big secrets with everybody. She can get a little pee shy. Me too. We have that in common. I don't know. You see, Buster Cherry, I've never actually eaten a hot dog and had it made me look gay, so I don't know. First, I'd have to answer the question, how do you eat a hot dog and look gay? Once I'd mastered that, then I could change the way I was eating a hot dog to look less gay. But it's a British term, Winston's mom, going to the head. They also refer to it as the loo. The loo. In lieu of the loo, they go to the head. One bit. One bit. In one bite. Don't slurp the condiments off of it. Good suggestion. Close to a good suggestion. Don't slurp the condiments off of it is probably wise. I don't know. Latrine in the Army. It's called latrine in the Army. Interesting. I've heard that term before. I didn't know it was a military term. I learn something new every day, I guess. Do you know humans can live forever and the humans only die because of a mass hypnosis that believe that I can only live till 100? Fun. That's cool. Well, I'm not really susceptible to hypnosis, so that means I should probably live forever. Good suggestion, Elijah. Good suggestion. If you don't want to look gay when eating a hot dog, then don't approach the hot dog with gay intentions. Good. That's just so straightforward. Such a good solution. I like that a lot. Your neck's been hurting for a few days now. Any suggestions? Shame it. Shame it back to health. You know, you're weak, neck. What's wrong with you? Like that. No pain, no gain. And then tomorrow it'll be fine. Is there a giant spider on your neck? Have you checked for that? It could be a spider is currently biting you. Yeah, this bong rip is ready for me. Thank you for reminding me, Buster Cherry. I shall now pull it. Warning, 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 everybody. I still kind of have morning lung, so you may get a couple of coughs after this one. If you aren't familiar with morning lung, it's a terrible disorder in which when you first wake up in the morning, you can't pull as big a bong rip as you normally can. It's a serious disorder that I suffer from. But the best cure for it is a couple of big rips first thing in the morning. That tends to open up the lungs and, you know, bring you back to the place that you need to be standing in order to move the entire world. So, I'll pull another one here. I've got today this $100 OG, but I've also got a little bit of Northern Lights
concentrate. That's right. Let's mix them together and see how that goes. I'm going to take this toothpick and scoop a little bit of this stuff, like meow. Here, I got a piece right here. Just a little bit of it, see? I'm going to put it right here on top of the bong rip. Push it down a little bit. No, I don't really play with her. She just mostly stands there. Okay, so we've got a bong rip of $100 OG plus a bit of concentrate, and we're going to smoke it right now. Gentle meditation on the navel chakra. Look, I get seasick. Okay? I'm not doing anything related to the Navy at all. No naval chakras, no naval war games, nothing naval. I'm sorry. If you want me to participate in your military exercises, you're going to need me on land, Mister. On land, Missy. On land, Mr. Missy. All right? I'm going to transubstantiate this bong rip to Buster Cherry. It seems like somebody who might appreciate a transubstantiated bong rip. Buster Cherry, if you're not familiar with this process, it means that while I do all the smoking of it, you get all the high. So it's a pretty good deal. I hereby transubstantiate thee. I'm guessing that was a bit of a bell ringer for you. I didn't get any of the high from it because it was transubstantiated across the interwebs into your brain. No, it's a real high. It's magic. I've got magic powers. It's true. Only the most important people will hit like. Now look, if you've got low self-esteem, this is your cue to indulge in being the most important. So don't trust your own instincts. Trust mine when I tell you, you are one of the most important people. And that's why you should hit like. I'm not going to astral project. I'm always high on weed, so that's a silly notion for me. There is no spoon. God damn it. I'm going to have to use just a knife and a fork again. And I'm eating soup. What a catastrophe. ENTPs help INFJs see the funny, fun side of life. I realize not everything has meaning or connection. This is important. It is important, and it's also important for me to get to see how everything is sort of interconnected and has meaning. And I think that that's what we do for each other. You know, it's like I help Rachel realize that we have narrative writing power. We're not just the recipients of pre-written narratives. And she helps me realize I'm limited in my narrative writing power. Some things are true and universal beyond any good and help. You know, it's like that Rachel and I are meant to be together. The universe intends it to be so. Like everything about us is in perfect harmony and sync almost all the time. It's crazy. It's like we get hungry at the same time, thirsty at the same time, sleepy at the same time. We want to see each other at the same time. It's like we want a little space at the same time. We are always best served by just relaxing and being ourselves, and in an environment of trust, right? Like of really trusting the other person enough that we can really be ourselves. Now, when we're really ourselves, it turns out we can be pretty gaff. It's true. As I mentioned earlier, it's like I can objectively stand back and say I would not want to be a third party in the room while Rachel and I are being gaffed with each other. It would cause me to projectile vomit. But because I'm party to it, instead it's just rich, creamy, nougaty FI, basically. These days I see the slabs all the time in extremities. See, that's the thing. I'm starting to see the slabs everywhere too. It's whew, the slabs are busy. They're just like heavy in their portentousness sometimes. That's what I would say. Heavy in their portentousness. That reminds me. That reminds me, Rachel Apollosa, to remind you to write. I'm supposed to remind you of that. Thank you for reminding me to remind you of that, my precious, perfect bucket of angel food perfection cake. I guess you're more of a knapsack's worth of angel food perfection cake. I think that'd be a more accurate description of your perfection. With Rachel in my life, I've attained the moistness of a rich pound cake, soft and heavy cream, and bejeweled with strawberries. All right, Kankan Krishna Sarmapagu, loving fish and meats and milk products. I love your anti-vegan ways, Kankan Krishna Sarmapagu. I want to just go ahead and put my full support behind Kankan Krishna Sarmapagu's anti-vegan diatribe. I think it's fair to call it that. Do you think it's fair to call your words an anti-vegan diatribe, Kankan Krishna Sarmapagu? Or do you think that's a bit of a stretch? I didn't get to read your answer about whether your priest messed up his mantras yesterday or not. Let me see what you said, if you said something. Thank you, baby. I appreciate you so much. And I appreciate your 3 pieces of looks like strawberry short sandwiches. Don't those look like little sandwiches, strawberry shortcake sandwiches? I like those. Mrs. Mom, you're trying to go to the advanced level of India first. You need to go straight into the beginning level of India, way before you start talking about nakshatras and artas and stuff like that. Okay? Here, Mrs. Mom, I'm going to give you step 1 of Indian culture. Make something with curry. Okay? I want you to start there. You're getting too ambitious. You're too ambitious with this other stuff. I want you to try to make a nice curried coconut milk. Curried coconut milk is a classic Indian dish. Curried coconut milk with pan in it. That's an important Indian dish. You should start there. And maybe try working your way up to jasmine rice. If you get that far and you're still okay, then you can try throwing colored dust on yourself. At that point, you've started to overburden yourself with knowledge, probably, so you might want to slow down. All right, this episode could be called Eric Teaches About India. Dot, not feather. Yeah, don't worship idols. Not a good idea to worship idols.
That's my advice for all of you prospective idol worshippers. For those of you who are in the religion real estate market, you're going around and saying, do I want to practice Hinduism, Buddhism, Christianity, whatever? When you stop at the idol worshiping booth, and they're like, hey, y'all want to worship some of these idols? Remember King Krishna Sarmapagu's word of warning. Idol worship is like smoking cigarettes. Once you're in for your whole life. You don't want that. Idol worship is the cigarette smoking of metaphysics, I think. You want to avoid it for sure. It's not good for you. Lindsay's mom, are you going to India? Well, you're going to find a nice Indian man and get married. Move to India, live in the northern mountains. I want you to marry somebody named Anju. Anjoo. Is that an Indian name? Kankan Krishna Sarmapagu for an Indian dude? Anju. Anju Paka Pan or something like that. Is that an Indian name for an Indian dude? Anju Paka Pan. Do you know anybody named Anju Paka Pan? No, not like the pair. It's two O's, Winston's mom. That's what makes it Indian. I wonder if there's a masculine version of Kankan Krishna Sarmapagu. Would it be Kankan Krishno Sarmo Pago? Would that be the masculine version of Kankan Krishna Sarmapagu? Or Sureto Chandran? Anju and a Jew, Paka Pan. Those are your Indian. They're Siamese twins. You have to marry them both or marry neither of them. It's up to you, Winston's mom. What do you choose? Do you choose to marry the Siamese twin pair of Anju and Achu and become Winston's mom Paka Pan? Or do you choose to wait for another husband? That's the question. You know that feeling? It can only be felt by feeling how it feels in your feely beds. I do know that feeling, Elijah. I totally know that feeling. It's damp. It's damp down there in that feeling pit. It's wet and damp, covered in sort of a mucusy saline. I know that feeling. It's a wonderful warm mucus. I would like to know what song is your prettiest song. You know, I actually think my prettiest song is a love song I wrote for Kimberly. You come outside, your arms are folded, getting scolded for playing again. I want to be. I'll play it on the guitar. It should have been written for Rachel, but of course Rachel doesn't scold me. I mean, the funny thing about this song is, right? I wrote it to predict her coming out in the morning and being mad at me for staying up and writing the song. I thought I'd outsmart her by making it a love song about her. And it kind of didn't work. But then, like, everyone's like, oh my God, Kimberly, that's so romantic or whatever. And she kind of came around. I never really got full credit for it or anything. Whew, that woman was a challenge. come outside, your arms are folded. I'm getting scolded for playing again. I wanna be as much as I can in terms of the man you want me to be. I got to do what I got to do. I'll include you in everything that I can. 'Cause I'm your man and you're my girl. I mean my woman in the world. You are the one I will be with till my dying day. Na, 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 na. I wanna be as much as I can in terms of the man you want me to be. Kimberly, please don't be mad at me. Though I made this song, 'cause I'm your man, you're my girl, I mean my woman in the world. You are the one I will be with till my dying day. I'm your man and you're my girl, I mean my woman in the world. You are the one I will be with till my dying day. I mean, it's funny because it's like N-I, right? It's like all this shit and garbage, but it's a beautiful thing. What, Eric? What? Come on. It's like the rest of your songs about Kimberly. My songs about Kimberly are all so full of N-I that I'm ignoring. Like, the beginning of this song. No good comes from skating on with them whom you've mistaken for the one. It's telling myself no good is coming from this, Eric. No good is coming from skating on with one whom you've mistaken for the one. But I just ignored the fact that it was about me and Kimberly, you know? And then I proceed in the song to say, despite all these awful truths, they're not true about us because that's not the story I'm telling. And then like in what's the big problem? When I say you guys both have lots invested. That's not a reason to stay around. It's like it's so much about me and Kimberly. You're not part of the song. You know, the rest of the song isn't. Yeah, you guys both have lots invested. That's not a reason to hang around. Oh, I know how it goes. No, I forgot the lyrics to it. Through the years, you both been tested. Time to climb up, find higher ground. I'm not quite singing it right, but that's the words to it. Yeah, it's like I was obviously talking to myself. That's the one where Spacey sings and you two are on the porch. It's darkish, maybe near the street. Possibly. I wrote a lot of songs when I lived with Kimberly. And I told a lot of my story in that kind of a way, you know. I would always be just revealing the truth and then spinning it, you know. Things are so different with me and Rachel. It's astonishing. It's like I don't know. It makes me have feels. Yeah, I guess it does. I guess it does come out in my music. Here comes my dad. Hi, Dad.
Kitty doesn't quite know what to do.
Yeah, she's a little bit particular.
That's okay. Oh,
Hold on a second.
how you doing?
I'm doing fine. I'm gonna wrap this up, everybody, and talk to my dad for a bit. I'm live streaming at the moment. I'm gonna end it right now. So hold on.
You doing what?
I'm making a video. I'm gonna end it right now. No. I'm ending it right now. Just give me a second. All right. Goodbye, everybody.
So, okay.